Good day, this is WesternPacificWeather.com's third video update for Typhoon Maon. It is the 14th of July 2011, 08 Zulu, 4 p.m. Philippine time or 5 p.m. Japan time. Typhoon Maon now moving close north of the Mariana Islands, well north of Guam. It was last located 730 kilometers north-northeast of Guam, with maximum sustained winds of 165 kilometers per hour and gusts of up to 205. Maon is a Category 2 in the Saffir-Simpson scale. Maon is moving westward at 20 kilometers per hour. See in this latest visual image that increasing coverage and cloud coverage, and also that outflow, and it seems to be an eye forming and being cloud filled again, and then forming. It looks like a pulsating storm actually, with weakening trends and then increasing again, and we've seen that with the latest images in IR and visual image, so definitely interesting to monitor Maon here. As of 06 Zulu, about 2 hours ago, National Weather Service keeping that tropical storm warning for the islands of Magan, Alamagan and Agrihan in the northern Mariana Islands, expecting tropical storm winds of up to 40 mile per hour winds or stronger beginning tonight as Maon passes north of the area here later tonight local time there. Also a high surf advisory issued all throughout the territories here, as expecting high swells and rough surf as Maon passes by, and will probably stay there for the next 2 days, as the coverage of Maon certainly becomes larger as it continues to intensify. We also have here the latest radar image from Guam, showing that squalls of heavy rain, moderate to heavy rain, approaching the islands from the west. It's still spotty right now, though the National Weather Service are expecting increase in coverage of this rain throughout the day and into tonight, and probably will last into tomorrow. So yeah, definitely gonna be watching for those bursts of heavy rain there, and also some gusty winds embedded in these storms and these mini thunderstorms here. Moving on to Maon, we have here tropical total precipitable water, or TPW image here, showing that seems to be dry air westward of Maon. We touched on this last video update, and still here right now, showing seems to be drier and training into the system and disrupting the northeastern quadrant of the storm, as you can see in this latest image. See, western periphery is developing nicely, although here in northeastern side it is disrupted and kind of beginning to become spotty with warming cloud tops as well. Also, although you can see some sort of an eye on the infrared image, and also some colder cloud tops on the southern half of the center. We expect that to continue intensifying. We also want to see that color red forming a ring around that eye in order to depict a very strong typhoon. They're a textbook type of typhoon, and we've seen that with many super typhoons and rapidly intensifying typhoons of the past season, like Maggie and then Songda just a few months ago. So yeah, definitely, and Maon right now is still in very favorable conditions, so we still expect it to intensify further. We've got lots of incoming data from satellites here. We have the microwave image from the SMIS about roughly an hour ago, and you can see that the microwave eye trying to form, this is the 37 gigahertz image, trying to form an eye. It had an eye earlier actually in earlier microwave images, although again disrupted, and now beginning to reform again. And here is the 89 gigahertz image, also showing that, and noting the decrease and absence of activity in the northeastern quadrant, and mainly the eastern half of the storm, actually, as you can see here. So the western side is looking pretty good, actually, and still doesn't have those convective ring types of signature here in the microwave. So definitely a long way to go for this typhoon. As I said, it is still in a highly favorable environment. The anticyclone slightly northwest of the storm center, still experiencing 5 to 10 knot wind shear, so definitely low wind shear, highly favorable, as I said, and high sea surface temperatures around this area as well, around this region, around 30 degrees Celsius. So getting lots of energy from the ocean, and expecting this to become much stronger. Models and weather agencies definitely showing that. And we have here the steering layers for the storm. You can see this subtropical ridge anchored south of Honshu, south of mainland Japan here, steering this system towards generally to the west, although we are expecting gradual turn to the north poleward recurvature, as they say, towards towards the north into mainland Japan early next week. It will depend on how and when the subtropical ridge will weaken, and as JTWC says, it will reorient itself to the southeast, allowing Maon to move poleward. And yeah, definitely going to be watching for the next few days. For the general forecast, we do think Okinawa up to Tokyo here in Honshu, and I have to watch this storm very closely. And as for the computer models, generally in good agreement up to 2 to 3 days, and then diverge slowly. You have your CMC being the eastern outlier. It shows only 3 models here, CMC, NOGAPS, and GFS, but you can see GFS and NOGAPS. And tight cluster here is showing a landfall somewhere in southern Honshu, just east of Shikoku Island, early next week. And you can see GFS brushing the southern coastal areas of Honshu as it moves north of that subtropical ridge here. We also have the UK Met model, so showing that we said that it was forecasting a straight runner 12 hours ago in our last video update. Now it's still showing that westward movement is still still west of the consensus of the 3 models earlier that we showed. You can see UK Met showing a Shikoku landfall, and also expecting this to deepen much further and become a very strong typhoon before gradually weakening before landfall there. ECMWF, or the Euro, is actually becoming the western outlier this set of runs 00 Zulu, showing a landfall in western Kyushu by Tuesday morning. Actually, this is Wednesday morning Japan time. Also, again, showing that a strong typhoon, and it's actually increased in strength compared to its last run 12 hours ago. But yeah, still expecting that strong typhoon hitting Kyushu by the middle of next week. And the later runs of Euro model showing this to track across the Sea of Japan and exiting east of Honshu by late next week, and move into the Pacific Ocean as an extra tropical cyclone. Now we're going to show you the latest forecast from weather agencies. We begin with the National Weather Service, again showing that track north of the Mariana Islands tonight, and moving generally west-northwestward, and then slowly turning poleward towards what seems to be a Kyushu landfall. And also you can see in this forecast, the intensity forecast by the NWS, also showing that 155 mile per hour winds from Maon as early as Sunday. This is in accordance with the JTWC forecast, actually forecasting 135 knot winds by day 4 or 5. So definitely either category 4 or category 5 super typhoon being forecast by these agencies. You can also see here by forecast by JMA, showing that poleward turn and turning northeastward towards either Shikoku or Honshu. It looks like a Shikoku landfall by the JMA, and also forecasting that to be happening early next week. And also you can see here the Ryukyu Islands and Okinawa here moving, expecting Maon to move well east of the islands, although we do expect some sort of winds, strong winds to affect Okinawa and the surrounding islands this weekend. So definitely prepare also for that, and watch for the latest warnings from the official weather agency JMA in this case. And here is the JTWC forecast again. Well, mainly the same with the NWS here actually, but just showing that track towards Kyushu and into Shikoku perhaps. And as I said before, they are showing category 4 typhoon. Also here are personal forecast from Western Pacific, showing landfall also either in Kyushu or Shikoku, well in agreement with the models and weather agencies, although slightly west of the consensus of the computer models here. And yeah, we do expect Maon to intensify further and perhaps attain category 4 as it moves east of Okinawa. There's a small chance that it could intensify further, becoming a category 5, although if it happens it will be brief and depending on the rate of intensification definitely. And yeah, in this case you can also see if you look at this track, we also expect Maon to enter the Philippine area of responsibility as early as Saturday night, and will exit the PIR later Sunday. If it does enter the PIR, Pag-asa will name this storm Maon as give it a local name of Hana. But as I said, it will be far away from the Philippines to do some sort of major damage. Although we do expect Maon to influence the southwest monsoon to re-strengthen again throughout the Philippines, which is now weak, affecting mainly northwestern Luzon here. And yeah, touched on this briefly in our last update also. We have the Invest 92W east of the Philippines, drifting across the Philippine Sea as of the moment it was last located 860 kilometers east of Virac, Catanduanes, with maximum sustained winds of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour and a minimum pressure of 1006 millibars. You can see in this latest visual satellite image what seems to be a circulation on the lower levels of the storm, and also convective activity mainly to the west and south of the storm center. The storm center is here around 133 east, 14 north, and showing that partially exposed low-level circulation center with the northeastern and the eastern side of the storm mainly devoid of any sort of activity. But yeah, you can see here the TCFA. Yeah, JTWC actually issued a TCFA about 2 hours ago, tropical cyclone formation alert, expecting this disturbance to become a depression in 24 hours, having a high chance there. Also ASCAT, their winds showing 15 to 20 not to 25 knots, so definitely improving and consolidating storm. And finally, this is a great shot of what we think is a developing storm here east of the Philippines, and Typhoon Maon. It depends on the proximity and intensity of the two. Definitely there could be some influence, and we just have to keep watching over the next few days, and that's why you have to keep updated and be informed always. Listen to your official weather forecast from official weather bureaus. Also here at westernpacificweather.com and storm2k.org for great discussions with enthusiasts and meteorologists. That will be our update for today.